Welcome to this episode of Inside the Gym podcast. I'm Chris Gilbert, your host for this episode. And today our guest is Stu Margel. Stu is a master's level bodybuilding competitor and a trainer who trains quite a few master's level competitors. And the majority of the athletes that he trains are 45 or older. So I thought Stu would be a great person to come on and help us talk about our topic today. Being over 50 myself and Stu being in his mid 50s, we're both really done a lot of research and we're really into this, like, how do we keep training and getting the most out of our bodies and doing the most that we can over 50. There's a lot of nuances to it. So I thought that this would be a great topic. There's a lot of people out there looking for this kind of information. And I thought Stu would be a great person to come on and talk about that. Is there anything that you want to say about your business or about what you do before we get started, Stu?
Well, for starters, thank you for having me. I know it took a little while to get this going, but very excited to be here. So thank you for the opportunity. The only thing I say is
I've been doing. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you first. Go ahead.
Oh, so I've been doing a ton of research on this topic, and if you just Google or just YouTube search workouts for people over 50, you're going to find a plethora of videos and discerning information and one topic over here and one topic over there. And there's all kinds of opinions out there that kind of fight each other. I've kind of watched a ton of videos and kind of come across some things that I think are commonplace. But you've trained a ton of athletes in this age range. Why don't you get us started and talk about some things that you found that are really essential to one? We both agree that 50 is not an age where you can't build muscle.
Correct. That's 100% right.
You just have to do it in the right way.
Correct. Little perspective. So I played Division I sports and I was in great athletic shape when I was younger, and I just turned 55 last week, as you know. I look at my journey and how I kind of got to where I am now. And 46, we all have that flip the switch moment. And I wasn't fat, but I was not in good shape, just not. And it just got to a point where I'm like, enough is enough. So I made a deal with myself. By the time I hit 50, I want to be in the best looking shape I could ever be. I was already in great aerobic shape from playing sports. That wasn't my thing. I just want to stay healthy, but I want to look good. I kind of got that bug, and I learned a hell of a lot that if I'm 46 and doing this, man, if I only did it at 36, if I only maintained it when I was 26. But, you talk about, 50 is not that cutoff line where, you can't build muscle anymore. I mean, I've got a whole host of athletes who are in their early, mid, and upper 60s. I have someone who's give me 70 in February. He competed on stage for the first time 2 months before he turned 68. And I've got another husband and wife team, if you will. They're just lifestyle athletes. And again, I call everyone an athlete. If you're lifting weights and doing cardio, that's athletic. You're an athlete. I don't believe in the word client. They're 73 and 71. And here's a guy who had triple bypass surgery. He has neuropathy. He has diabetes. He had long-term COVID. And so he's doing an amazing job. He's lost a ton of body fat. He's actually put on some muscle. Is he going to be a bodybuilder? No, but it's not a death sentence by any means.
Yeah,
but what is when you don't put on muscle.
Yeah. And there's no reason you can't stay in amazing, just to go to that level. There's no reason you can't stay in amazing shape in your 70s. But
Absolutely
the longer you wait to start, the harder it's going to be.
That is true. And I mean, look, you can see studies coming out almost daily is what I'll call it, that what's the greatest medicine? And that's preventative. And what's the best preventative medicine? Build muscle. Going one step further, start from your waist down. Here's how I look at it. People don't pass from a broken hip, right? What happens is they break a hip, they have surgery, they're a little bedridden, then they become sedentary. And because they're not moving around, all of a sudden other things start. DVT, you can wind up with pneumonia. And then it just steamrolls from there. And the problem is, if you don't have enough ability to get up and move to be able to rehab beforehand, you're really fighting a very big uphill battle afterwards. So I look at the majority of my lifestyle athletes who are, say, 45, 55 and older, men and women, and their goal is, yeah, I want to look better. I want to feel better. Well, what actually happens is they wind up becoming mentally strong and more positive about themselves. But they're realizing, especially those who are in their late 50s, 60s, and as I say, 70s now, they're realizing it is for the long-term benefit. I mean, for example, my athlete who I said is going to be 70 in February, who's going to be competing again for the second time, his feeling is, yeah, I want to do it for myself. I like how it is. It's like a new bucket list item, but I want to be able to run around with my grandkids, and he has 5 of them. And he does. He swims in the pool. He runs around with them. He does everything.
Yeah.
That's how I want to be, right? That's the goal. It's longevity.
Were you at the gym the day I trained with David?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. So this video is yet to come out because I got to get David to do an intro. But
yeah,
Stu trains at the same gym where David Falk trains, works out. And David invited me to come train with him. And for anyone's understanding who doesn't know who David Falk is, David was Michael Jordan and pretty much everyone who's like legendary NBA players. David was their agent. He's now in his 70s, if he's not just 70, but he's definitely 70. And kept up with me. And I've been training every day practically for the last 6 years. I was 47 and hit that point where I was like, I'm going to die if I don't do something. If anybody who hasn't heard my story, because I was almost 300 pounds.
Sorry about that.
See your picture. You weren't nearly as big as I was. I was big. But David kept up with me the entire workout. And then we got to abs and he kicked the shit out of me. David kicked
David. I see David probably 3 to 4 times a week. If he's not working out with his coach, Kevin, he's doing it all on his own. And he doesn't stop. I mean, he comes in, he's determined, he gets it done, he gets out. It's not talking and hanging out. Like he'll walk past me, hey Stu, fist bump, keep going. Like that's it. That's all he does. And quite frankly, that's the attitude one should have. It's not spending 2-3 hours in the gym. It's coming in, having a plan, executing it, and getting out. But no, David's a great example. He really is.
Yeah, and he was a machine, like just getting it done. And he's 70 years old. Like it was awesome.
Yep.
But the thing I wanted to talk about was like for anyone who has gotten started or is getting started, like, or maybe you've been training, like the things that we need to really start paying attention to when we're getting into our 50s and 60s.
So I look at the whole thing as not a single item. It's 5 things for any athlete, but especially as someone starts creeping up with the digits, right? It's your workout, it's your nutrition plan, it's your water, it's your cardio, and it's your recovery, your sleep, your rest. I said to someone who happens to be a teacher, one of my athletes, and he said, well, which one is, if I had to give up one? I'm like, well, let me ask you a question. If student came to you and said, but I did most of the work, I got an 80, is that good? Well, I think it'd be pretty good, but I think the person has more. I said, you just answered your own question. You want to get close to 100, you want to be an 80. So nothing's better than putting it in their own vernacular and being able to empathize, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it really is everything. So just to give you perspective, the way I look at it, what is the person's ultimate goal? It usually starts with some aesthetic change that they want to make, right? They've got a bigger belly, they've got a bigger tush, they want to lose body fat, they want to lose pounds, which that's a whole different story. They want to look like they lost a certain amount of weight, but they want to put on muscle. Don't be a bodybuilder. They want to put on muscle. They want to be healthy. Well, you start working out with them, trying to devise a program that they can do, taking into account their limitations, their ailments, their dysfunctions, their literal pain points if they can't do a certain movement because of an injury or a current issue. Then you get going for a couple of weeks. Then we figure out through a food analysis, what are their current macros? And that's how I program my athletes, all through macros. And then for lifestyle people, it's not about changing every day in a high carb or low carb. It's keeping it constant, keeping things as simple as possible. The old business term, the acronym KISS. That's how I look at it. A lot of them have never done this before. So focus on their workouts, what they can do. Then we devise that over a couple of weeks. What exercises work, what kind of weights we're going to start with. Then we start analyzing their nutrition, and we figured, okay, invariably they think, oh, don't eat any carbs. It's bad for you. It makes you fat, right? They think they're doing well with protein, but it's nowhere near good enough. And then they say, oh, but I'm only eating healthy fats, but their fats are still like 100 plus grams a day. They don't know what they don't know. It's the true definition of ignorance, and it's acceptable. So my feeling is, let's find out some things you like eating, create the percentages in a way you need to do that match up with your workout program to eventually get you where you want to be, with a constant revision of those macros as you go forward, right? The more muscle you build, the more food you're going to need, the more fat you burn. And then it starts all over again. It's a recurring cycle. It's a great problem to have, he said. Right. So that's kind of how I look at it. But it doesn't matter, again, if you're 45 or 65, the process is really the same. It's just unique for each individual. So I'll actually give you a little tidbit. I have a set of athletes who I've never posted on my Instagram page. They've never wanted to be made public, and it's totally fine. I respect their privacy. They are twins. They're 45 years old. They are ladies. They look identical. They dress identically. They almost lift identically. Their macro plans couldn't be any more different if you tried. One could be from Timbuktu, and one could be from somewhere in China. It doesn't matter. They are wildly different, and each one needs to be revised. But the great thing is they're able to work out together, so they're their own workout partners. And I see the manifestation of what their bodies have changed to. And it's absolutely amazing. One has 2 kids, one has 1 child. They live maybe 4 miles from each other. It's very cool to see. Yeah. It really is.
Well, and
but I think that whole process being put together.
Oh, I was going to say, I think one of the big things is, like, you mentioned those 5 things. And those 5 things, as you mentioned, are important no matter how old you are when you start. But as you get older, there are certain parts of it become even more vital. Like when I was in my 20s, as long as I went to the gym and I ran once in a while, I could eat McDonald's and drink beer whenever I want.
Right.
You can't do that at 50. You have to have your nutrition dialed in, because your body and your metabolism is just not forgiving.
No, it's not.
Your nutrition is even astronomically more important when you get into your 40s and 50s, because your body it's not going to forgive you.
That is true. And you're also talking about individuals who might be predisposed to diabetes or prediabetes or hypertension or something else. All those things need to come into play. Right. So I'm not going to get into an argument or with somebody about, processed foods or not processed foods, because you've seen me. I sit there eating my cinnamon raisin bread before I work out, right? I'm famous for that, right? But if someone chooses to eat cleanly because they feel better about it, I'm fine with it. But there are certain things that someone is going to have to maintain. So I have one individual. He is now 62 and a half. He's who I recall the recovering CrossFitter. So this gentleman, he's strong as an ox, and still is. I'm convinced he's stronger than I am. He was built like a block. I look at him now. He has legitimate V-taper, but he actually put a glucose monitor on him for a couple months, and his sugar was all over the place. So we looked at it, and we needed to be more careful as to not so much as the amount of carbs he was eating, but almost when he was eating them as well. So his training days, he would actually have them later the night before and into the next morning, and they would almost take a day off and then get back into them again. So every person is different, but one needs to be mindful of what he or she is eating. It absolutely is indicative.
Oh, 100%. And each other piece is super important too. Like rest days. Like I am famous for saying I'm going to take intuitive rest days, or that like I'm going to take a rest day when life forces me to take a rest day. When the truth is that now that I'm 52 years old, I need to put rest days in because my body builds way more inflammation than it used to. My muscles take longer to recover. And I'm the stereotypical, like I'm dealing with an injury right now. I tore my bicep tendon, and now I'm barely working out. I'm doing baby weights. I was excited today because I went to the gym and I could curl 15s for 15 reps. And that was, I was like, yes, I'm finally up to 15s. Like, you know, so, I mean, that injury has set me back months. That's one of the things when I was watching tons of videos about working out and training over 50. One of the biggest things that they were talking about was as you age, you need to train not to get hurt, because if you're in your 20s and you get hurt, you recover really quickly and it's not that big of a deal and you're not going to lose that much. But at our age, if you get hurt, it can set you back 6 months to a year.
Absolutely. I'll give you a perfect example. So prior to my second season of competing, I was feeling great in the gym. I was doing a one-arm row, off a Life Fitness machine. I was feeling wonderful. 4+ plates per side, super duper.
Mm-hmm.
3 days later, my elbow was bothering me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird because it wasn't the outside for tennis elbow, it was the inside, all the gripping. And I didn't realize. I figured using straps would help. It was so bad. I could not supinate. Forget about a 15-pound dumbbell. I couldn't do a 5-pound dumbbell.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, what do I do for my back? It's all rowing. Well, I eliminated my bicep. I always kept my hands down. I would start using cuffs instead of gripping. 6 weeks. I was miserable. Now it's like, I worked it too hard. My back is sore. My legs are sore. Big deal. I don't care about that. That's fine. We'll do that. Injuries, and it's not being hurt. It's an injury. That's bad. So that I totally agree with. It's a very different mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's an interesting one. I have a gentleman. He is just about to hit 60. He is a mountain climber. And I don't mean mountain faces. He has climbed Kilimanjaro. He's getting ready to do two ascents in Argentina in January/February, almost back to back. And each one is well over 23,000 feet.
Wow.
Well, he's someone who we've got to focus on that type of workout, strength, explosive power, but building muscle at the same time. And he went through an aesthetic phase first. Now it's changed to this. He's decided to do it again. And he tweaked his hamstring. So we're very limited. We don't do any unilateral exercises right now. Well, didn't at the time. Now we're back to them. Everything was bilateral. We never wanted to put stress on one versus the other because it takes a while. And the thing with him is great. He's a doctor. He's a pediatrician. They are the worst patients ever. I've got a whole slew of nurses and doctors, anesthesiologists who are athletes of mine. They're the worst. They don't take their own advice. It's hilarious to me.
Oh, yeah.
So it's true. You have to be very mindful of what's going on. And I mean, I'm taking notes on my phone as I'm working with someone, but when it starts getting heavy, say on a leg press, and I pay attention to it, and I see there's like a little shimmy or shift, and I can see it in the face, I'm like, hey, lock it up for a second. Why? I'm good. I'm like, no, what happened? And something's there. And they don't want to say it. They think, oh, just push through it. It's a little tweak. It's when you ignore the little tweaks that they become big issues.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he did the same thing with his calf a little while back from running on the beach. In sneakers, which is fine, but he was running on the sand. It just got overworked. So we had to take some time off and work it out and go from there. So, yeah, as you get older, that rest and recovery is germane. 100%.
Yeah, I've learned that as much as I hate deload weeks, they're so important. Like, I actually do deload weeks now.
You program them in, or you do it intuitively?
I program them in, because if I don't program them in, I will tell myself that I don't need one yet.
So I'm different, right? We talk about, I said how doctors and medical professionals are their own worst patients. I'm probably my own worst athlete, because for me, I won't program them in. But if I say, you know what, something's just not feeling right today, or I'm just a little lethargic today, I'll focus on lighter rep, harder contraction, and maybe additional sets. So I'll do that. But the next day, if I feel good, I'll go right back to where I was. I don't program them in generally. I actually don't even really program them into my athletes until we're doing, say, a mock prep for a show, or they're getting ready to do, say, oh, I'm going away to a beach on a cruise. I want to look better. So it's, kind of a show prep. And then for a real peak week. So it's different on those because you are depleted, right? You're losing your fat, you're losing your energy, lower carbs, what have you, until you load up at the end. But the way I see it is, you've got to be aware of what you're doing. And again, remember I said earlier, nutrition has to marry the workout and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I would program them. But otherwise, my feeling is always you keep pushing until you recognize something's not right. And then you take that deload.
Yeah.
That's how
No,
I
I
do it.
get that. I put them in every few weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll like every month and a half, I'll take like, I'll still go to the gym because mentally I can't not go to the gym. It's like my therapy
Right.
for the week.
Oh, sure.
I'll just, instead of like, and I don't go heavy at all anymore. I don't lift anything that I can't do 12 to 15 times. And usually if I can't do it 15, then like I'm not lifting it.
Right.
But I'll go in and I'll do, instead of 6 days, I'll do 3 days that week. And I will like do like, like a 30 rep max, and I'll do less sets, and I'll still go through like my workout just to get some movement in and feel like I was at the gym, but I'm not building up any inflammation. I'm just getting some movement around.
Right.
And just to like let my body like calm down and heal, but not take my mind out of the gym.
So interesting segue. So my athletes know that I'm famous for saying certain things, right? One of them is you do you. If you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting somebody else, and you think it works for you, then you do it. Again,
100%.
I process foods all the time, right? People can shun me all they want, but I'm pretty okay with how I look, and my blood work markers are fantastic. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is, let's teach the younglings the right way things should be done.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Another one is, and I do this all the time with my stories, it might look like a serious picture, but I'm invariably making fun of myself. If you can't make fun of yourself, what's the point of having fun?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the last one. It's actually probably the most important, and this is where it comes in. I tell every athlete, I do not care how much weight you move. I care how you move the weight.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't lift heavy. So when you came in that first day and when you were here with David, I don't believe you saw me lifting, but I don't lift heavy weights. Look at Eric, right? The owner of the gym. He's an IFBB pro.
Yeah, and he's
right?
jacked.
He does not lift heavy weights.
Yeah,
There are very few moments I do heavy weights. I do try and load up on rack pulls, because one of the knocks on me at my last show was you got to thicken up the middle of your back from top to bottom. It's a great exercise to do it, plus other ancillary things that I do with it. But other than that, to me, it's about the contraction. It's how you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
We're body builders, not weight lifters.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a great story. So I've got two younger guys. One's 31, one's now 35. They're cousins. They work out together. They're both going to be competing for the first time in December. And the very first time I put Jamie, who was the younger of the two, into a glute drive / booty builder hip thrust, right?
Mm-hmm.
He put 4 plates on and he was going boom, 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 boom. I said, great. Can we change this a little bit? He said, what do you mean? I said, I want you to do it this tempo, this style, put your feet this way. And everyone knows I'm methodical as to how I want to exercise, right? Don't just make it harder, make it more impactful. So be smarter about it. I knocked him down to 1 45-pound plate per side, and his legs were literally shaking by the time he got to the 8th rep. That was only on the second set.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is about how you do it. So if I'm doing, a pin-loaded exercise, right? So the trotter equipment we have here. It's old school style, but it's crazy effective. And if I'm doing the incline press, this guy Jamie, ironically enough, he bought me these stack pins, and you can do almost like a self drop set. They're fantastic. Mm-hmm. But if I'm starting at level 10, I drop down to 7, drop down to 4. Trust me, that 4 is really, really hard. But I'm probably doing 35 reps on that last set by the time I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So I get what you're talking about. Find a way to make it more impactful. It's not just about, move heavy weight, be strong, man. That's not what I do. Like, I don't do rehab. I don't do physical therapy. I don't do quote unquote strength conditioning per se. I work with college athletes for size and performance, and I work with lifestyle and bodybuilders. So when you talk about powerlifting and strongman, you met Justin here, right? nationally ranked, the kid, he's 38.
Yeah.
He's not someone who deadlifts 800 pounds. So that's who I send people to. But for folks like us, I'm not saying people shouldn't be doing it, but this is not, oh, I'm going to PR a bench, a squat, or a deadlift. That's how
Right.
people get injured.
Yeah. Like, if you're
It's
if you're not a competitive power lifter, then it's just an ego lift.
Agreed.
And if you're ego lifting in your 20s, okay. If you're ego lifting in your 30s, like, what are you doing? If you're ego lifting at our age, like, somebody needs to get a hold of you and like shake you.
Shake you. Yes. Very, very true. There's no business for it. What do we look at as we get older, right? Retirement, investment strategy, risk versus return. What's the return? Oh, yay, I was able to bench press 3 plates. Okay, and now what? Congrats.
Yeah.
How does that help you
was
going forward?
For a moment.
Yeah, that's it. It's one, and I'm guessing it's also horrible for it. So, now I will say this though. If we talk about how this first started, our conversation about longevity and building up strength, I said you've got to really build up everything from the waist down. But you have to build up upper body muscle. So should something happen, you're able to rehab it. I can speak empathetically to this. So my mother, she has a torn right bicep tendon. She will never rehab it. She has other issues where she actually can't go underneath anesthesia. But even if she could, she has such little muscle development that she would never be able to strengthen that shoulder up because of the lack of muscle. If she had it beforehand, then it would be a different story if anesthesia was, on the table. But that, again, that's kind of how I look at things. It's preventative medicine. It's the best kind.
Well, I was reading something the other day. It was talking about that the majority of people, you mentioned people falling and breaking a hip. I was reading a story. It was talking about the majority of people who fall, because you can't not, there's nothing you can do that's going to stop you from losing like some semblance of your balance. That's just what's going to happen. We all lose a bit of our balance as we age. But what the article was saying is the majority of the people who actually fall when they lose balance is because they don't have the strength to catch themselves.
That is correct.
So,
and that's not even something from the waist down, if you will. When you say catch yourself, it's being able to move your hand out enough to brace yourself on a counter or on a chair.
Yeah.
That's a great example. Again, I'll use my mother as the example because she did not have that ability. It happened to be falling on that right side. She couldn't lift her arm up. So I get it. I'm living that right now. And my mom is 80, she'll be 86.
Yeah, my mom's 73 and she's had a couple falls and I've got her now convinced to resistance train.
There you go. So my dad, I finally have that as well. But it's also about nutrition. It's like, oh, I can't go to the gym in the morning. I've got to do this and this and this and this. Dad, knock it off. You've been retired for 45 years. You've got plenty of time. It doesn't work for your schedule. Adjust your schedule. Right? So they take care of us. Now we take care of them.
Yeah. 100%. And I think the other thing I'm still trying to get a hold of is, in my 20s, I had the attitude, like, if I lift heavy enough and long enough and do enough reps, that's my cardio. That doesn't work out. Like, you have to put in some cardio just because your cardiovascular health is so important, and you've probably already done enough damage that if you're not getting some cardio in, like, you're going to be in trouble.
So as we get older, we learn that. But if you ask anybody who's, I would say, almost 30 and younger, did you get your cardio in? Yep, working on my fat loss. Okay, cardio is not for fat loss. It aids in fat loss. It's called cardio, not fat loss. It's my horrible old man joke, right?
Right.
It's for your cardiovascular health. The studies have all said muscular development and strength, specifically from the waist down, and VO2 max. How much endurance does one have? right? So I have an athlete, she's 55 years old. She owns a commercial cleaning business, but invariably she is walking up and down those buildings, checking on all of her staff. She's been with me now for 7 weeks. She said, I don't get tired anymore. I'm not sweaty walking up and down the corridor stairs. That's what cardio activity is. That's what it's for.
Mm-hmm.
It's for your heart by definition. It's not for fat loss. It just helps with fat loss.
Yeah. Well, and the other part, like, if we're not doing cardio, especially at our age or as we get older, and you do try to strength train and you do try to get, because I've taken some time off cardio because I hate it. And I'm like, I'm just not doing it for a while. And I'll notice a difference in that
Absolutely.
I'll be doing a really like, because I don't go heavy. So I'll be doing a really strenuous like set on the leg press.
Yeah.
And I'll get systemically tired before my quads wear out. Like I could
Absolutely.
probably get another like 6 or 7 reps, but I'm out of breath. And, you know, if you're not doing cardio, like it's going to limit your ability to train from a strength standpoint.
It absolutely will. So I'm a full believer for all of my athletes. I believe in high volume, which means there are a bunch of exercises they'll be doing each day within their program that they're going to have drop sets. And I don't mean like one or two. I mean, Mike, who I mentioned, the recovering CrossFitter, I can put him on a plate loaded leg press and he's doing 6 plates per side. I'll do 6, then 5s, and 4s, and 3s, then 2s. I mean, that's a lot of reps by the time he's done. Because the first set's probably 10 to 12. And then we're going to try and increase the reps as we go down. If he didn't have his cardio 3 times per week, he'd never be able to do that, ever. But I like to think of the way I train my athletes. There is a cardio function thrown in for endurance because there are a lot of drop sets. It is a lot of high volume for certain body parts and certain exercises. So is it a cardio session? No. Is it quasi cardio to some degree? Absolutely is. But it can't be separated only from that. You can't not do anything else. It doesn't work that way. You've got to do both. Hence why I said those 5 things. That's why I said working out and cardio were 2 of them, not 1 of them. That's what people refuse to understand. I don't have the time. You don't have the time for 30 minutes? It's 24 hours in a day. Stop making excuses.
Right. Go on a walk.
Yeah.
Just pick up the pace when you do it.
Exactly. So steps are very different than cardio. So walk faster. Walk the same amount of time, but walk faster.
Yeah.
Find an up.
I've seen a couple studies on that too recently where like 10,000 steps isn't the same, doesn't give you the same benefit. Well, it's still good to get your 10,000 steps in. Nobody's ever going to say that getting more movement in is bad, but making sure you get your 10,000 steps in isn't the same as going on a 2-mile like speed walk or like even just a 2-mile vigorous walk.
Right. Look, I'm a great example of that, right? Our gym is not the biggest, but I'm forever walking around and I could have 10, 12 athletes back to back throughout the day. My Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays are infamous for that. Right. And, I even said to Eric the other day, he was leaving early. I said, banker's hours as well. Not everyone can have a permanent vacation here the way you do. Because I could set up a bed here and never leave. That's just kind of funny. But I could probably get in 18, 20,000 steps those 3 days. That's not cardio. That's just a crap ton of walking and lifting and loading weights. Is it energy expenditure? Yes, but it's not cardio. And I don't pretend it is.
Yeah, it's not training your heart the way you need to train your heart to be healthier.
Correct. That is correct. So once people understand that difference, it's great.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I just wanted to touch on that last thing you said. I don't want to keep you forever, but you mentioned sleep also. And sleep, like this is something I struggle with because I've never been a huge sleeper. Like when I was in the Navy, I had friends that we'd stay up all night and they'd sleep for 18 hours. And I'd stay up all night and sleep for 8. And as I get older, it's even harder and harder for me to sleep like good, solid sleep, but it's so important. And as you get older, it's going to be harder to get in good, solid sleep. But it's even more important.
Absolutely is. So people think when they first start working out, oh, I've got to be really sore when I leave the gym. It means I started building my muscles. No, it just means you tore the fibers. You did something your body wasn't really used to, or you did more than what you were used to. Your body doesn't build when you break it down. Your body builds when it's repairing. Your protein, your carbs, your fats in there. You sleep and recover. That's when the muscles go through reparation, right? So I joke all the time that, let's talk about those busy days. I'm here working out with athletes at 7:30 in the morning, and my last one ends at 8 at night or 8:30. I go home. My food's already planned for the next day. I go home, quick walk with the dog. I go upstairs and shower, and I go to bed. Right? I'm in bed by 9:30, and I don't get up until 6:30 or 7 o'clock again the next day. That's a good 9 hours, right? If my math is correct. I'm getting old. I need as much beauty sleep as I can get. But the only reason I'm waking up is because I drink a whole bunch of water, and I'm probably waking up a good 2 times at the night. But I wake up, I don't turn lights on, I don't keep my phone upstairs. I go to the restroom, I come, I know where it is. I don't need to turn a light on. I go right back to bed, right back to sleep. For the most part, I'll get a solid, 9 hours a night, and I need it, and my body feels great the next day. Too many people, they keep their phones next to their bed. They sleep with the TV on. They're always checking emails. They get lost on social media or some other rabbit hole, the news of what's going on today. Right? You can't avoid it. It's important right now. It's what's going on. But you've got to find a time to just literally turn it off. People who work, right? You've got to disconnect from the office or your business or whatever it is. You're not going to do anything at 10 o'clock at night anyway. I mean, God forbid it's an emergency if maybe you're a doctor. But otherwise, go to bed, go to sleep. Wake up the next day, feel a lot better. Now, there is a limit. The more you sleep, the more you rest, the harder it is to get moving. So Newton's laws of physics. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. A body in motion tends to stay in motion unless there's an opposing action on it. So you've got to find the happy medium for you. So for me, it's, call it 9+ hours a night. Others might be 6. Others might need 9, 10, 11, whatever it may be. That's where I say everybody by definition is unique.
Yeah.
I use my twin athletes as the example. Their macros are completely different. Their sleep schedules are actually quite different also. Everybody's different, and you have to find what works for that specific athlete.
Yeah, if I can get 7, I'm golden.
Right. So there you have it. That's perfect. Because you know what works for you.
Even in summer when I'm not going to work because I'm a teacher,
right.
My body just doesn't want to sleep more than 7. So,
right. It's very true. But again, Chris, you found what works for you.
Yeah.
And that's golden. Well, it does take time, but the problem is people tend not to know, and they try and fight it. What's the expression kids use nowadays? FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
You're going to miss out on a hell of a lot more if you're not getting your rest and recovery, you're not doing your cardio, you're not building your muscular strength up. And I'm talking about as we get up in age, all of those things are much more important, right? That's how we look at it. That's
like you see all those things on social media talking about like you can spend time on your health now by going to the gym and eating healthy, or spend time on your health later at the doctor's office.
Yeah. And what's the other one we all see online, right? Do you want to be do you want to be the oldest person at the senior living, or do you want to be the youngest person who's out and about? Right. And it's a mindset kind of thing, right? You're as old as you feel you are.
It's better to be the oldest person at the gym than the youngest person in the senior living home.
That thing. Yeah. See, I can't even get that right. But yeah, that's the one. Yeah. But it's true. It is. Look, I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to hide from it. I look at myself compared to my friends, my peers, my family. There is vanity involved in it. I'm a men's physique pro, right? I get it. That's what I do. Here's my body. I'm 55. I'm on stage. But I work hard to do this. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy my food, my workouts, my recovery, my everything. And I look at them and I'm thinking, who's going to be around longer? Because I'm not really doing anything to the extreme except for a prep for a show. And even my extreme isn't that bad. But I look at them and, Do I think the, semaglutides like, Ozempic and Wegovy, and do I think they're beneficial? For certain people, I really do. But you can't just take it and it's the magic drug and all of a sudden, oh, look, I'm skinny, I'm healthy. No, you're not. You're just less fat and less muscle. And that's a conversation for a different day, as we all know.
Yeah,
but
100%.
Do the right things as early as you possibly can, right? I started this by saying, I wish I knew it at 36, so I figured out at 46. It's a lot more fun this way.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, I let myself go up to almost 300 pounds before I got control of it.
So you saw the picture. I don't know if you had put it up or not, but that picture on the left was April of when I was 46, and I turned 47 in September. Those two pictures are interesting because the one on the right, where I'm much more fit from last week, there's about 1.5 pound difference between the two.
Wow.
1.5 pound difference. When the one on the left with the white shirt, I was 185. That picture, I was 183.5. Now I'm trying to build up more as I get ready to get back on stage in March. I want to put more size on. I went to bed last night at 186.4. That's the most I've ever weighed in my life.
Wow.
Now I'm not fat. I'm not stage lean, but you can actually still see abs on me. I'm much happier the way I am now than I was back then. That is a fact.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I'll send you a photo. Like it was like summer of 2019. Or summer, I think it was summer. Yeah, summer of 2019. I was like 290.
Oh wow.
No, summer of 2018. I was 290. We were on a cruise, and I have a picture from a cruise the following year of 2019 where I was like 220.
Now, to give people perspective, I'm barely over 5'8". You're significantly taller than I am, but even so, that's a lot of weight. I mean, you're talking nearly 115 pounds more. You're not 10. You're not 10 inches taller than I am. You're maybe 6 inches taller than I am.
But I mean, you look at the photo and you're like, yeah, you were a big dude. Even my son jokes. He's like, yeah, that was Big Dad.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I know you got a client
again,
and I appreciate you coming on, and we'll probably have you back on again because this was a good chat.
This was an absolute blast. I love watching the podcast. I love watching all the reviews. It was great when I first met you when you walked in the gym that day. And I will say this for those who have seen your content, and even those who have not, I will tell you what I actually appreciate about yours is that you're genuine. You actually tell it. You tell it how it is. You rate everything on plates. The equipment's great. The cleanliness is great. Staff, not so much. Or it might be the other way around, where the staff is great and the environment's great, but the equipment's old. But it's great for what it is. I mean, again, I used to work out at a gym that you had reviewed, and it's the Ferrari of gyms. And I come here, I call this the muscle car version, and I've had more growth here I'll refer to it as, a little bit more limited, but it's awesome. It's awesome. It's great.
It's limited, but it's unique.
It is. And that's why it works.
But yeah, like I love old school gyms that have that grit, and you can't go into a gritty old school gym and not work hard. You just can't.
Right. Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Yeah.
But I thank you for having me. This was an absolute blast. I'd love to find another topic and do it again.
Oh, definitely. So
thanks.
And Chris. I'll probably be up there sometime in the near future, and we'll catch up.
Ping me. I'd love to put you through a workout. It'd be great.
All right, great. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, sir.
Bye.
Yep.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more great content.